Brett Pontecorvo here at Livekeyboardist.com, and today I am answering the question, does your live keyboard setup cover all the bases? So when we're performing live as keyboard players, there are just essential things that everybody needs to have, and today we're talking about just components. So I'm not going to dive too much into specific gear, but if you are trying to build your live setup, these are all of the things that you need to be thinking about. Now, before we dive in, make sure that you hit that like button, take a second to click subscribe so that you are plugged in and you don't miss any information that you might need to enhance your live keyboardist skills. All right, so diving in now, what makes up a live keyboard setup? So to me, it's broken down specifically into a couple of parts, right? So we have our first part, which is our musical input device. For a keyboard player, that is probably a keyboard of some sort. Though some other people might use a pad controller like the Push 2 or the Novation Launch Control, or maybe you're a drummer, whatever it is, your musical input device. Second part is your sound generator. So for myself, that is my computer running Ableton, which hosts different types of synthesizers. So that's where my sound comes from. The next part is a sound controller. So this is the ability to manipulate sounds while you are playing. So I use the Novation Launch Control XL to do that. However, there are lots of different types of controllers, and the beauty of going with a computer-based setup is that it can kind of be whatever you want it to be. The Novation Launch Control has 8 different user modes that will allow me to create really way more options than I could possibly come up with to control my sounds live. So the last part is your sound output device. Now, I use the Focusrite Sapphire Pro 24, though this is no longer being made, but there are lots of great audio interfaces that you can use to get your sound out of a computer and into the world. Now, this last part is sort of an optional part because it depends on what you are using, but you also, if you're practicing at home, need a way to get the sound out of the box and into the air. So in my case, when I'm working at home, I use the Yamaha HS5 monitors, and those are just really decent monitors that give me a clear idea of the sound that I'm working with. So there are lots of different ways that you can go about creating these 4 components, right? So you can have a computer-based setup, and a computer-based setup is what I personally use, and that allows me to create endless customizable options of different things, but it does require many different pieces, as you can tell from what I just talked about. Then, of course, there is the more traditional keyboard approach where all of your sounds and all of your controls are built into one keyboard. So an example of that might be your Nord pianos, or the Mod X is an option, or perhaps you're doing like a Korg Kronos situation. All of those would sort of encapsulate everything because they're going to have the musical input device triggering an internal sound generator and the sounds being ported right out the back. So which one is the best one for you? Well, I think this really breaks down into 2 categories. If you are doing something where you need endless customizability and you need to be able to create lots of different things and change things and make the setup work specifically for you, a computer-based setup is best. However, that will come with a price tag because gear is expensive. If you are able to kind of work with what you have, then perhaps a keyboard setup without a computer, without using a DAW, is more correct for you. But I'd love to hear how you are setting your stuff up, so make sure you leave an answer in the comments below letting me know what you are doing, and make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more excellent live keyboardist information to step up your skills. I'll see you next time.